Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this one is quite sad, where we have a Gazian asylum seeker, yes, we've already got some of them, who had tried to meet a 14-year-old girl for, that could be old off YouTube for using Bitget things with an S and ends in an X. The story has been shared all over the place today. I'm just putting it onto my channel for those who may have missed it. But it has been charged, and it is unclear how or when he arrived from Gaza. An asylum seeker from Gaza tried to meet a 14-year-old girl for SEX. I quote her, Al-Najir Amir Abdul Rahim, 30, is alleged to have had sexual communications over 57 days until last Saturday. The Palestinian refugee learning English at a college in Stockton-upon-Tees tried to fix a meeting with the supposed child, who is thought to have been a decoy. When he tried to meet her last weekend, intending they would engage in sexual activity, he was arrested and held. He is charged with attempting to engage in sexual communications with a child and attempting to meet a child following grooming. Manchester GIPs remanded him in custody to appear at the city's Crown Court next month. They decided there were no conditions to reduce the risk he would offend while on bail, though he was not considered a flight risk. He gave no indication of his plea at the short hearing at Manchester Magistrates Court. Abdul Rahim is thought to have had an interview with the Home Office about his immigration status earlier this month. It's unclear how or when he arrived from Gaza. There's just a few things about this. We often hear this with people who are from different cultures from us, who do not maybe understand the laws of this land, nor care for them. But what I do find frightening on this, we have just received, I think it was 10 children from Gaza who are injured for medical attention, which I find that's a bit weird in itself when there's countries bordering Gaza who would be able to attend to these kids much quicker, where they would travel hundreds of miles rather than thousands of miles to come here. So I'm unsure why they have not went to places who have and continue to offer medical assistance to Gazan children. Places like Saudi Arabia, I believe Kuwait, Dubai, even Israel and Egypt have all gave these kids medical help before. What I found strange was that when they arrived in the UK, they came with 50 of their family. The other thing I find bizarre is that Mr. Starmer, by making Palestine a state in his eyes and recognising them as such, has given those people the ability to have an embassy in London. Now, when you have an embassy, there's two things that you get to do. The first thing is, you get diplomatic immunity and lots of other privileges, such as coming into the country unchecked what's in your baggage, etc., etc., etc. Now, most embassies are traditionally guarded by their own armies, so we do know that they bring guns with them, because that spot of land is their country. So that's the first thing. We're now going to have loads of people from this area coming into the United Kingdom with diplomatic privileges. And the absolutely bonkers thing is, the people who get to pick are obviously the government from the state who own the embassy. And in this case, Gaza and the West Bank. And we know who the controlling party is in Gaza. That is Hamas, who are a terror organisation. And since 2006, when they were elected in, they won narrowly against Fatah. They had, I think, polled 55% of the vote opposed to 45% in a two-party election. They then murdered the opposition and chased them out of Gaza. And since then, they've never even bothered holding an election since 2006. And let me remind you, they're a proscribed terror organisation who will now be free to put whoever they want into the centre of our capital, London, unvetted, unchecked, and with whatever they wish to bring with them. The people of Gaza, they're not actually well liked in the Arab countries. Let me remind you, and to back that up, when the war, this current such conflict with Israel kicked off the 7th of October 2024, Egypt already had a strong border with Gaza, and the only land border other than Israel. They quickly shut the border and re-fortified it and refused any safe passage to anybody from Gaza, as a lot of Gazians were flooding south towards the Rafah crossing. And it's still shut. All you need to do is Google how welcome these people are in other countries in the Middle East, and you'll find they are most unwelcome in other countries. They have quite a bad reputation. So not only has it now become apparent that we have been allowing people into the country who are going to meet 14-year-old girls for the various reasons, we're going to let more in. And the whole thing beggars belief. When they're not even welcome in their own region, why would you think they'd be a great idea to bring loads of them to us? But our governments, and I say governments because I live in Scotland and I have influenced by Holyrood as well as Westminster, unfortunately. And the Scottish government are more of them. In fact, when we looked at the launch of the Palestinian embassy, our Scottish First Minister, leader of the Labour Party, and also the SNP leader in Westminster, were flocked to the event. And they're seen cuddling, handshaking, and saying absolutely fantastic words about their embassy leader. These people really like Palestinians. So don't think for a minute that what we're seeing now is going to get any better. And it gives me a bit of dreaded fear about what will happen in that embassy the minute it's fully functional. But if you're a virtual signalling vote catcher that panders to a certain demographic of society, then it's no wonder that these people, like your Starmers, your Anna Sarvers, your John Swinneys, and your, what's Flynn's first name again? I can't remember. The one that looks like Skeletor. I was going to say Scott Flynn, but that was a boy I worked with in Edinburgh years ago. It certainly isn't him. But these people absolutely adore them. So if you want others to see this video, hit the like button, put your comments below, and hit the share button. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell. However, despite all that, unless you're the type of person that tells fibs to come to our country, unless you're the type of person who's not welcome in your own region as a people, but you come here and you try to arrange to meet 14-year-old girls to do some ridiculous things with, then not you, and not the type of people who are trying to bring more here. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.